Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada
Granta Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Okay. Today we're going to read from the second canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We just started it. So it's on the 5th verse in first canto, in first chapter of second canto. Before that, we will just offer the praise to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Divim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadrishu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, I'm going to read translation of these verses, what we just recited. Before reciting the Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. All right. So we're reading today from 2nd Canto, 1st chapter, verse number 5. Okay. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrutavya Kirti Tavyascha Shrutavya Kirti Tavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam Smartavyascha Bhayam Smartavyascha Bhayam Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrutavya Kirti Tavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. Please chant. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Tavyascha Bhayam.
Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma
Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma
Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari
Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari
Shrotavya Kirti Tavyascha
Shrutavya Kirti Tavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. Anybody from ladies? Radha, you can recite. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrutavya Kirti Tavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. Anybody else wants to try? Okay. Word for word translation and meaning. Tasmad, for this reason. Bharata, or descendant of Bharata. Sarvatma, the super soul. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Ishvara, the controller. Hari, the Lord, who vanquishes all miseries. Shrotavyaha is to be heard. Kirtitavyaha, to be glorified. Cha, also. Smartavya, to be remembered. Cha, and. Ichhata, of one who desires. Abhayam, freedom. Let's see. If I would like to say in Sanskrit language, to be heard, what would I say? That's right. What about freedom? Yes. What about tasmat? No, I was asking for Sanskrit.
You said the Sanskrit tasmat.
So in Sanskrit, tasmat will be Sanskrit. In tasmat, the same. Okay. What about the personality of Godhead? Anybody? Bhagavan, that's right. Thank you. Okay, you listen in. Good. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. Purport. In the previous verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami has described how the foolish materially attached men are wasting their valuable time in the improvement of the material conditions of life by sleeping, indulging in sex life, developing economic conditions, and maintaining a band of relatives who are to be vanquished in the air of oblivion. Being engaged in all these materialistic activities, the living soul entangles himself in the cycle of the law of fruitive actions. This entails the chain of birth and death in the 8,400,000 species of life, the aquatics, the vegetables, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, the uncivilized man, and then again the human form, which is the chance for getting out of the cycle of fruitive action. Therefore, if one desires freedom from this vicious circle, then one must cease to act as a karmi, or enjoyer of the results of one's own work, good or bad. One should not do anything, either good or bad, on his own account, but must execute everything on behalf of the Supreme Lord, the ultimate proprietor of everything that be. This process of doing work is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Also, where instruction is given for working on the Lord's account. Therefore, one should first of all hear about the Lord. When one has perfectly and scrutinizingly heard, one must glorify his acts and deeds, and thus it will become possible to remember constantly the transcendental nature of the Lord. Hearing about and glorifying the Lord are identical with the transcendental nature of the Lord, and by so doing, one will be always in the association of the Lord. This brings freedom from all sorts of fear. The Lord is the super soul, Paramatma, present in the hearts of all living beings, and thus by the above hearing and glorifying process, the Lord invites the association of all in His creation. This process of hearing about and glorifying the Lord is applicable for everyone, whoever he may be, and it will lead one to the ultimate success in everything in which one may be engaged by providence. There are many classes of human beings: the fruitive workers, the empiric philosophers, the mystic yogis, and ultimately the unalloyed devotees. For all of them, one and the same process is applicable for achieving the desired success. Everyone wants to be free from all kinds of fear, and everyone wants the fullest extent of happiness in life. The perfect process for achieving this, here and now, is recommended in the Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is uttered by such a great authority as Srila Shukadeva Goswami. By hearing about and glorifying the Lord, all a person's activities become molded into spiritual activities, and thus all conceptions of material miseries become completely vanquished. a nice verse. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much everyone for attending this class. As we heard from second verse in the prayers, by regular attending on the Bhagavatam classes, you'll achieve all success. So first of all, I would like to ask for the blessings of all the assembled devotees. So may I speak something in line with Shastra and something what you can use in real life, something beneficial for all of you. Thank you. This is a really nice verse. This is actually talks about what we should do. If you just do this, no miseries will be in your life. So we have this term called Dharma. And Dharma, it's something, it's a quality of something which you cannot really get rid of. Okay, maybe I'll sit a little bit like that. It's hard to see everyone. So something natural which you cannot really, if you take it out, it won't be this thing anymore. For example, we know famous example about the sugar, right? Dharma of the sugar to be sweet. If you take sweetness out of the sugar, it won't be sugar anymore. It will be something else. And the same for us, for living beings, for spirit souls, the real Dharma is to hear about the Lord, chant and glorify Him, and teach others to do that, to do the same thing. And well, we can understand that by our mind, even by reading Bhagavatam, but we cannot always perform that. And I was thinking why we cannot do that all the time. Because we have different conditionings, which everyone has completely different things to work with, and it actually influences our consciousness, it influences our activities, everything, what we do, what we think about. And we think this is ourselves, this is us. Well, not exactly. It's just our conditioning, which we have to uncover. So ultimately, we all came from Krishna, and when we really realize that, all your conditions go away. And so because we conditioned everyone in a different way, from that comes, we want different things, right? We have different desires, and it's completely normal for human being to have desires. We're not Mayavadis, we don't practice in that, we don't have to have any desires to get rid of any desires. We have to have desires. This is just nature of us. The same with the thoughts. You can't just get rid of thoughts. If you just sit for a little bit and try to not think about anything, you really can't, because you still, the thought process is going on. And what we have to do, we just have to really turn it to Krishna, to speak about Krishna, to hear about Krishna. But we're all in different places, and it's not that easy to do because conditioning is there, and we have to act accordingly. And it says in this verse, very nice thing, that it's a way how we can become free from all the miseries. Who wants to experience miseries right here? Nobody, right? But they come anyway, on their own accord. We don't ask for them. We don't ask, we ask for happiness, but we don't ask for miseries, but it comes anyway. And why it comes? Sometimes it seems, if we don't desire anything, there will be no miseries. Because all the miseries come when you want something really badly, or even a little bit, but you cannot get it. And maybe it's not supposed to be, but maybe maybe it will come a little bit later to you, but you want it right now. So that's why all this suffering comes, that you really suffer in your mind, that you want to achieve something and you cannot get it. And usually how it works, it's based on senses. When we experience, it says in purport, Srila Prabhupada says that we're all looking for happiness. And it's normal. We have this, even though we went through so much experience in our life from before, and maybe it's not always pleasant experience, we have this idea about happiness. Where is it coming from? If you suffered all your life, how do you know that you want to be happy? It comes from some kind of experience, because everything what we experience comes from some scars. Some scars is something what you've done before, and you might remember it, you might not remember it, but you have this feeling that actually I have to get somewhere. I want this happiness, even if you never experienced that in this lifetime, because you see, the soul knows that where we belong to. We belong to Krishna, where unlimited happiness is. But because we're conditioned and because we're covered by all the material body, right, we look for happiness in the wrong places. There is very interesting advertisement, which you've heard, everyone, and you probably saw it. Coca-Cola. Did you see it? Open bottle of happiness. And like my Guru Maharaj says, the jiva, the soul, is always looking for, always looking for happiness, and of course looking for different places where I can get this happiness, or the ways. And also it's open for suggestions. So jiva is always open for suggestions. So basically how it works, you're looking for happiness, just maybe without even realizing that. Then you see this billboard, Coca-Cola, open bottle of happiness. And then you think, yes, this is happiness, let me try, let me give it a shot. Then you buy this Coca-Cola, and like my Guru Maharaj likes to say, every cell of your body says, no, don't put it in me. It's very bad. But your jiva thinks, no, it says it's open bottle of happiness, so it's happiness. And you drink it, right? And of course you get different kind of reactions, maybe sometimes not really good from all these things. And then disappointment comes, that it's not actually happiness, what I was looking for. But because you saw it, right, there was a reaction right away. We have a really unique opportunity to give to people this real happiness by giving them Srila Prabhupada's books, by distributing books. Jiva is open looking for different things, openly looking always for different things. And, when they see devotees with a book table, meditation and yoga. They're like, let me see, let me try. Maybe this is happiness. And this is right. This is when they come, and this is how they can become really happy. And for that, we have to also do something. And but also with these desires, it's very interesting. We cannot stop desire. What we can do is really see. We have to learn how to look for long-term desires. They are very short, fulfillment of these desires. They're very short period of time where you, for example, you want something, and you think it will change your life. You think it will change your situation in life. And you really over-endeavor for something. And then you get it. But life is not changing. Because there is no happiness inside. You can change so many things from outside. You can marry a nice person. You can eat amazing food. You can have thousands of millions of dollars. You can have a really big mansion. But will it work? You think you'll be happy? Radha, what do you think? No. Yeah, because you were born in devotee's family. Of course. That's true. From a personal experience, I can tell that, I'm originally, from Eastern Europe, and in our country, it's not really a nice atmosphere, and I was always wanted to leave. And then when I came here, after few months, I realized that actually, there must be something wrong with me, not with Belarus or with the United States. And it's actually a big realization. Because we want something really badly, we really get attached to these things. You get attached to this mind desire. And honestly speaking, the truth is, most of these desires are just in your mind. So you think that you will get pleasure. You think that, it will work out very nicely. And you put all your energy in some kind of, to achieve something. But then when it actually comes, it takes a second to completely ruin everything in your life. It takes a second. Only because it was based on senses. That's why we have to look really for long-term results. We have to see how it's going to be beneficial, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. How it's going to influence my life. And if you cannot see any, we can imagine how it's going to be, but you have to be honest with yourself, whether it's your senses working and you really want something, or this is something real. And the best thing to do in these situations, when your intelligence is not working, use somebody else's intelligence. There is a very nice story about attachments and how we really getting ruined by these attachments. There is a story about Kurari hawk. Have you heard that before? No? So Kurari hawk, it's a very small bird, but it's predator, so it eats mice. And there was a story when he got a mice. And usually they hold it in their, how do you call it? Claws, yes. And he was flying. And then with this small mice in his claws. And the bigger bird saw it. And he started attacking him. So he was just flying, he was attacking him. And what did Kurari hawk do? He just let it go. He let it go, the mice, and he stayed alive. Because if he didn't do that, he would get killed by this bigger bird. So it's a really nice example how sometimes we cannot give up something, what we think will make us happy, or we're really attached to something, and we cannot give up. And it's actually very hard, because when you have already something in your hands, or you think it's in your hands, you think that it's going to be forever, like that, and it's very hard to kind of exchange it on something what you don't have, and probably for something what you aspire in the future. It's very hard to leave it. There is another very interesting story about monkeys and banana. This how they catch monkeys. I believe in India. There is a box inside banana, and monkey puts the hands in there and takes banana. So she can do like this, right? She can put this small hand in a hole. But when you take something, right, your hand becomes much bigger, and you cannot take it out. But she already holds this banana, and she cannot really give it up. That's how they catch monkeys, And she just starts becoming mad about that banana. And it's a nice comparison because we are like that. We hold on something, and we cannot really, let it go. Even though we see from scriptures it says that devotees usually don't over-endeavor. If something doesn't come, really, it's not that we don't have to work, but over-endeavor means you have to work really hard to get something. And if it doesn't work, it means it's not worth it. It means it's not yours. It means it's, But even if it's yours, it will come on its own accord. You don't have to do anything for that. That's nice. I think it's nice. Yes. And this is kind of in the happiness, but the same with the negative parts, that, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, if something is supposed to happen to you, it will happen. Whether in the United States, in Belarus, in India, in Ukraine, anywhere, So we have to go from outside, from inside. And a few seconds till gates are closed. Oh, it's actually a very nice thing that in Sanskrit here it says abhayam. Abhayam, it says it means freedom. So we all know that bhayam means fear, right? And usually when you add in the beginning, it means opposite. And it says, it means, abhayam means fearlessness. And it compares here, to freedom, because real freedom, it's fearlessness. Not that you can drink whatever you want, or you can meet whoever you like, or you can do whatever you want. This is not the freedom. This is actually bondage. That you cannot say, you cannot reject things. But actual freedom is fearlessness, when you know that, when you have this spiritual strength, that I know what's right, and I'm able to follow it. Even though sometimes maybe it's not really pleasant, maybe it won't bring you any kind of fame or immediate happiness, but you know it's right, and you follow it. And for this spiritual strength, we're really praying. We're really praying to, we can understand so many things, what's right, what's wrong, but if we're not able to follow it, this means something wrong, and we have to work a little bit more harder on our faith, on our spiritual practice. Because real fearlessness is when you're not afraid. You know that this is the right thing, and I'm going to do it, no matter what somebody tells me. And you're not afraid of the consequences, like what happens afterwards, because you know that it's the right thing to do. Even though sometimes there are situations in life when everyone against you, everyone is against you, and you think maybe it's something wrong with me. But then you think, you talk to your mentors, you talk to people who are outside the situation. They can tell you what this reality is. And also coming back to this story about Kurari hawk, that it's, when you look at this picture from outside as a, observer, you see what needs to be done. You see that, for example, this bird really will kill this small bird. It's better he just drops this mice. But when you're inside the situation, it's very hard to act like that, because everything engaged, your mind, your intelligence, your senses, your thoughts, everything engaged in it. That's why we cannot really step back and see how the things are. That's why we need guidance. And we have to stay sober. And how to stay sober? By reading Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, by reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you see there are so many different stories, thousands of stories. And some of them are very, very sweet, and others not really sweet. Really heartbreaking, honestly speaking. I was reading this story recently about Chitraketu Maharaj. When his son, he didn't have a son, and then he got son by the mercy of Angira Muni, and because of the envious wives, they poisoned the child, and he died. And then he came back, again by the mystic powers of Narada Rishi and Angira Muni. He brought his son back, but he brought his soul back. And then he started telling him really harsh things. He said that, I had so many fathers and mothers, and which one are you? You put all this affection toward, and he's like, which one? Yeah, it says that opposite in love is not hate. Opposite of love is indifference. And when someone, when you love someone and then he or she tells you like, oh, who are you even? It really hurts. It does hurt. Because we all, we feel things. We feel things. It's normal. And that's why, Bhagavatam, even though it's truth, because it's Bhagavatam, but it's very hard to really kind of accept this thing. It's hard. It's, how can you say someone that this is not your mother, or this is not your father? Really advanced stage. But this is actually true. Maybe not everyone's ready. So Bhagavatam, when you hear Bhagavatam, it really purifies, it really sobers you up. When you go through any kind of situation, try to read Bhagavatam and see, of course, if it's not like extreme, when you have to talk to someone and, you have to experience different emotions. But try to read, and you'll see how Krishna will speak to you. Because Bhagavatam, it's an incarnation of Krishna. Not different from Krishna. This is literary incarnation in the form of a book. Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And by hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that by sufficiently hearing about Lord, you will purify yourself, you will purify your thoughts, your actions, your heart, everything. And you will feel very, very grateful. And when you feel grateful, you want to share. So this process comes very, very naturally. When you feel, when you hear about something for a long time, you naturally will speak about that. That's why, process seems very easy. You just hear a lot about Krishna, and then you speak about Krishna. There is a story about how one person, he was a devotee, but then he, so-called fall down. He started drinking and, like alcohol, different things. And then he went to a bar, and somebody started talking to him, and he was, he was like intoxicated. But then he couldn't stop talking about Krishna because of everything what he heard when he was a devotee. He couldn't stop. And then these people became devotees also, who he met in the bar. So don't try it at home. But it's a very nice story. And so it's really amazing how the more we hear, the more it really creates new samskaras, because it's very hard to get rid of our samskaras. Krishna can do anything, but we have to also put a little bit endeavor into it. He is ready to help to us. But we have to look for this, for the long-term results. Even when you read Bhagavatam, first canto, it's, first part of first canto, it's a little bit tough. It's hard to understand, especially when you have no background in spiritual knowledge. But you just go through it, right? And then somehow, naturally, you understand things. How it works? How does it work? Krishna is a super soul inside you, everyone, each of you. And he inspires you from inside. There is a nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham hridisani vishto matas mritirgyanam apohanam cha. It says that everything comes from Krishna. Remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. If you just desire that, he will give you that. That's why, we have so many rules and regulations we have to follow. But all these rules and regulations serve only two purposes. Who knows what is that? Anybody? Why are we doing all this Krishna consciousness for? Why are we reading so much? Why are we chanting?
To always remember Krishna and to never forget Krishna.
Yes. To always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is like, it goes on the top. Everything is whatever we do, it just serves these two principles. This is the most important prayer in our life, that, no matter what's going on, yes, Krishna, please be by my side. And in this way we will be able to cross all the miseries in this life, which, it's also very interesting how, another verse from Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, where does fear come from? So it says, Bhayam dvitiya vinivesha tasyat Vishata apitasya vipariryo smritihi. And the rest I don't remember. Do you remember what that was? Well, but the first two lines, they talk about fear. And it says, when we identify ourselves with material body, not with the soul, but with material body, that's when we start have this fear. Because, when we become really attached to our body, we start thinking, oh, maybe I need this car. Maybe I need this person to marry. Maybe I need this money. Maybe I need that. Maybe I need another thing. And when you don't get it, right, you become very fearful, because what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen? But when you realize, when you read this kind of verses, it's really nice to explain that, you're a spirit soul. And Krishna is in charge. This is the best part of it. Krishna knows what's going on better than you. And when you really give him this, faith and trust in him, he will arrange everything nicely. Whether you need a house or whether you need anything, new pair of glasses, new skirt, anything for the temple, he arranges things because everything belongs to him. For him, it's just like this. 1 second, all the money belongs to him. All the, our duty is just to really hear about him and try to develop this attachment to Krishna, Katha, and try to speak to people about that. This is what will make our life really perfect. No matter what kind of situation in life you are. Sometimes we go through difficult situations and it seems like it's going to be forever, but it's nice to remember that we have a goal. What is our goal as devotees? What is our goal? Yes, to ultimately, don't be here anymore in this material world, to go to Goloka Vrindavan, to be with Krishna always. And this is your goal. But on this goal, it's like a road, right? And there is so many different things what can happen to you. And there is nice comparison also that it's like you riding in a train. Imagine you're riding in a subway car, in a train, and then you have destination, whatever, Jamaica, right, or something else. This is very last stop. This is Goloka Vrindavan. But this train will stop on different stations. But it doesn't mean that you have to be really affected by these situations. Because your goal is something different. And you know that you will go through that. You know that there are 50 stations between where we are right now and between Jamaica, right? And train will stop there. You can control that. And you cannot avoid that. But you have a choice, you cannot get off on this station. But you can get off, and, well, Krishna probably will bring you back because he never forgets his devotees. But don't take this risk. Material nature is very powerful. And so, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that, or questions, corrections, realizations? We'd be happy to hear. Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My reflection is that I've been experiencing so many miseries in this life. And I see here there's a prescription to solve all of my miseries. And the prescription is the same as the description. It's all together in simply remembering Krishna, speaking about Krishna, glorifying his activities. And it's all so comprehensive, because the Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam is simply that very activity. And it's telling us to do that activity.
Yeah.
And here we are doing it. So, well done, everyone.
Jai. And thank you so much for the nice reflection. How simple is that, right? I really love this verse. It was in one of the Chat Plus verses from Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and I really liked that when I was reading 1 year ago. And you said that, it's so many miseries here. And you know why there are so many miseries here? If everything was nice in here, why would we want to go anywhere else? So it's a plan, we just don't belong to this material world. It's not our place to be. We try to shape so many different things out of this, but nothing works. Nothing works. We had this printing of one book before. It's a Spanish meditation, very small book. And there was one picture in that book. It shows a fish out of the water, and in one flank, I believe it calls, she holds like a cigarette. Another one, somebody gives her, bottle of wine. Then this, journal with the women, right? And then the fish, he's just dying, right? Why? Because it doesn't belong he can't live without water. And the same for us. It's like we just don't belong here. We tried very hard to do so many things here. But if you just accept this fact that, that's why it's happening to me. Because it's just not my place to be. Things become much easier. And you understand that this is not your station to get off. And you just keep reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Anything else? Jagadatri? Yeah, right? Sober. Yes. So let's just, keep reading, keep glorifying the Lord, keep telling about this to people. One thing that, people are very receptive nowadays. Before we'd kind of hide a little bit that yes, yoga, meditation. Now you start from that, but then they don't even, resist to hear about God, which is really amazing. This is a very good opportunity right now. People are tired from all this, coronavirus, riots, in New York at least we had a lot. They're just tired, they want to hear something different. And one thing to remember, my Guru Maharaj always says that the quality of the sound vibration, what you hear, what you put into your ear, it actually goes directly to your heart. So we have to be very careful what we hear, who we talk to, and what we let influence us through ears. Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai. All glories to Gurudev.